Hello everybody and welcome to the GenTech PC product showcase for the Asus G750JH. The G750 has been released for a while now and there are a few revisions. The JH revision is the newest one and it features a few minor tweaks to help make this the flagship model. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the G750JH and we'll go ahead and mention all those changes as we get to them. When it comes to branding the laptop, Asus went with an interesting choice and has Assassin's Creed black flag featured as a part of this laptop. Of course, not only do they give you the logo on the palm rest area though, you are going to get a scratch off card here that you can use to digitally download that game on your computer. Of course, if you already own Assassin's Creed black flag, you can always choose to give your code to a friend or sell it to somebody and make a little bit of money. Now moving on to mentioning one of the first predominant hardware changes in this revision, and that's going to be the power brick. The output has been upped to 11.8 amps, and that means the adapter as a whole moves from 180 watts to 230 watts of output. That extra output is very useful to the system when you're running the highest end hardware, such as the Nvidia GTX 750 mobile video card. Now moving over into the device manager so we can take a closer look at the hardware, you'll see that we are indeed running the Nvidia GTX 750 mobile, which is of course the flagship model from Nvidia. And all of our hardware is still built on top of the 4th generation Intel Haswell platform. Over in your network adapters, you'll see that we have Killer responsible for providing our wireless networking equipment, and the hardware ID for the panel, if you're interested, is CMO1720. We are about to bring you a bunch of benchmarks here shortly, and an important part of that is the temperatures. You have to know the ambient temperature first to really compare properly, so the current ambient temperature, we have the CPU at about 46 degrees Celsius and the GPU at about 47 degrees Celsius. Now it's time to mention the other major change on the JH revision of the G750, and that is the entire bottom part of the laptop here has been changed to help improve the ventilation and thus the cooling of the system. The rubber feet are now larger, which holds it up higher off of your desk, which means more air gets under the system. That kind of cooling is going to help keep a very high-end system like this running nice and cool under extreme conditions. Accessing the majority of the user upgradable components is pretty easy. This is a screwdriver-less bay door, so you don't need to have a screwdriver on hand. And once you open it up, you'll see that you have access to your RAM slots, your 2.5-inch SATA area, and your micro SATA SSDs. Although it's easy to access these components, you probably have little need to actually upgrade them since it comes with 24 gigabytes of system RAM. It has a 1 terabyte drive, and these two micro SATA drives are actually proprietary to Asus, so the standard micro SATA drives from other companies and brands will not fit in here. These are 128 gigabytes each, and they're in RAID 0, so that's a very fast primary hard drive for your operating system and your video games. So now moving into the benchmarks, the very first one we have for you is 3D Mark 11. Now that we've run that, we got a performance score of 7,185, which is of course really great for a laptop. The CPU that we used was the i7 4700HQ, and of course we logged all of the temperatures during the benchmark. The CPU managed to get up to a maximum of about 68 degrees Celsius during that benchmark, and the GPU up to 75 degrees Celsius. These temperatures are actually very low and well within spec, so the temperatures did great on this first benchmark. And right now we actually have a benchmark running on the system, and while that's running we can take a small look around the laptop. Of course, it's a great looking unit, but what I want you to notice is that down below the extra space provided from those larger rubber feet. So like we were talking about earlier, the laptop is held up higher off of the table, which means more air gets into the system and therefore things are cooling better. Even with this performance benchmark running, the cooling system stays very quiet and it's very efficient due to the dual fan, dual exhaust system that's inside. More and more laptops are starting to come with solid state disk as primary hard drives, since you usually have a larger capacity drive secondary. That's been one-upped by high-end laptops such as this one by adding usually 2 micro SATA drives in RAID 0. So here's one benchmark from Crystal Disk Mark to show you just how fast those read and write speeds are on a RAID 0 SSD array. And now the next benchmark that gets featured is going to be FirMark, and this of course is all about maximum temperature testing. This is a renowned benchmark for actually melting GPUs and breaking systems, because if you don't have top-notch cooling, this can absolutely nuke what you have. Now right now we've been running it for only about 5 minutes and we're already up to 83 degrees Celsius on the GPU. However, we found this is where it seems to cap out and it hasn't gone any higher. Down below, FirMark will actually give us a graph of our temperatures, and you'll see how it started off at 57 degrees and now it's swept up to 83 degrees rather quickly. We'll continue running the benchmark and we'll see what the highest temperatures we can reach are. While we have software to tell us the internal temperatures of the system, we'll use an infrared thermometer to monitor the outside temperatures. We have high 90s in Fahrenheit and we have mid 30s in Celsius as far as the exhaust heat. The higher the exhaust heat, the better, because that means the system is effectively removing the heat from inside. One of the few places you don't want to see high heat is from the keyboard area and palm rest area, because those are the areas that you'll be interacting with and touching with your hands. And of course those are staying nice and cool. All of these temperature readings point to a very well designed and properly operating system, and of course this is what you always want to look for and find in a high-end gaming laptop. Another temperature that might be interesting to note is that of the power adapter itself. Sometimes if these run way too hot, that would be a sign that it's being overstressed. The larger power adapter that comes with this revision means that the system isn't stressing it too high and the temperatures remain in a comfortable level. Now that FirMark has finished running full course, we can see our maximum temperatures. As you can see, we passed really well with 85 degrees Celsius as the absolute maximum. Video cards running under 90 degrees Celsius are ideal, and considering this is the toughest benchmark we can possibly come up with and it stayed under 90 degrees by a large margin, shows the cooling system was incredibly successful. Our CPU temperatures also did very well. We did not even reach 70 degrees Celsius on the CPU. And down below on the GPU temperatures, you can verify the 85 degrees that FirMark told us. And now that we've completed our full reveal and all of our benchmarking of the new Asus G750JH revision, that of course is going to have to bring our video to a close. While the focus of this video was to show you the new changes in the JH revision, if you'd like to learn more about the laptop, we do have the full detailed review of the original G750 available, and we'll have the link to that video in the description for you. In closing, if you'd like to learn more about the Asus G750JH, just go to our website gentechpc.com. There we have the current pricing and availability of this model, the full system specs, and a whole lot more. If you have any questions that we can help you with, then feel free to contact us by phone or email, and we'll always be happy to get back to you. So once again, this was Gentech PC, and we'll see you next time.